You're listening to The Kelly Slusher Show with your host, Kelly Slusher.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me again for my fun podcast episode. Woot, woot, woot. And it's episode 81, which I realized last time it was episode 80. I didn't say anything. You know, these are like milestones. So I'm thinking when I do my 100th episode, I'm going to do something real cool. I'll do something fun. And I also am noticing my numbers, my listenership has gone up. It was like 62% last month. And this month there's more. So thank you. Hi, new listeners. I know people pop in and out. They'll listen sometimes. I don't know, but it's very strange. I have faithful weekly listeners. But it's one of those podcasts, I guess. I don't know. But I'm glad you're here. You are welcome here. So it's birthday week for me. My birthday is on Thursday. And I don't know. I took the day off and I'm just I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, I'm going to go out to dinner later. My fake parents. I have there's this elderly couple. They love me. I love them. They see me as their daughter. Anyway, I talk about them, John and Laurel, and they're going to take me out to dinner to this really nice, fine dining. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Okay. So I was thinking, what if there was, like, when you took a shower, it was like a car wash, like it just like a shower. And it's like you just stand in there and then or maybe it's like you actually go through the car wash type of thing. It's an actual human car wash. Or it could be like you're in the shower and like there's like you just stand there and it does all the stuff and it washes your hair and you had like those big, rollers and it washes you all over your body. And then there's like some extra little, things that come out and maybe get some crevices. I don't know. Get some other places in your body and and then and then it rinses you off and then it has the blow dryer, like it blows you dry. I think that'd be pretty cool. The ultimate shower. But I think it'd be funny to call Home Depot and be like, yeah, I'm looking for a shower that is like, it has like the rollers and then it washes you. It's like automatic, washes you. And then at the end, it dries you off. Do you guys carry that? And they'll be like, that doesn't exist. And I'm like, oh, it should. And then there's this other thing I think is funny. I think for a while I was using this electric toothbrush. And it was so loud. I don't know if it was louder than other ones. But I did it for a while, and then just one day I was like, you know what? I don't like this. I don't like this every day waking up to this. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done with it. This has been going on for the past year, and I'm just not into this toothbrush like this. It's not working for me. Get your teeth soaking. So then I went and bought this is so mundane banter, but it is, I'm going to keep talking. So then I went and bought myself a regular toothbrush and I'm like, ooh, all natural. So now to go from using one of those to back to a toothbrush, I think I like to brush my own teeth with a toothbrush. I think I'm yeah, man, I'm I'm brushing my teeth. I'm going back to the roots. I'm going back to the days of I'm stepping back in time. Having a toothbrush now is I don't know. I'm keeping it real. I'm going back to raw. It's what it feels like. Because when you put this, because it was tripping me out to put this machine in my head. You guys know, I'm sure you guys use electric toothbrushes, but I actually went back to a toothbrush because it felt just like the right thing to do. And I don't regret it. I think I'm a better toothbrusher now. But I thought that was really funny. and maybe a completely boring, like, why are we listening to this person talk about toothbrush? Because I don't think people ever go back. That's why. I don't think you go back to it like a regular toothbrush after upgrading to the... I saw a package of shrimp chips the other day. Shrimp chips. Ugh. It just sounds so nasty. Is it like a shrimp? Like, how can it be a shrimp chip? Like, is it literally a shrimp that's popped into a chip? Sounds disgusting. So I have an open mic coming up next week. Woot, woot. And it's it's going to be on the 14th. And they're doing a lot of promotion for it. My last one did very well. There was not as many performers signing up, but there were a lot of people there. And that was like, after everyone, I'm like, okay, there's all these people who wants to play next. I've got 10 slots and no one wanted to play. But I think that's going to change. I've been hearing a lot of chatter, a lot of people talking about that so-and-so's, this. So I think it's going to do really well. And then on Sunday, when I was at this place, so I'm doing the open mic at this place that I currently am employed at, that I gave a month's notice. And it's kind of unheard of. They never have music. They never have anything like this, because the owners, when I first came up with the idea, they're like, well, we don't have a permit for that. And I'm like, but it's open mic. I mean, come on. This isn't live music. It's ends by 9. You don't need a permit for this. This is not the same thing. So she's like, well, yeah. So then, there was like doubts, but they let me do it. And then I did it, and they're like, we need to do this again. And I was like, yeah. So now they're really promoting it. And I'm thinking, you don't need to promote it as much as you're promoting it. I don't think so. I think word of mouth, small town, there's going to be a lot of people there. All this promotion. Okay. Because it's going to be like really crazy. But I love to host. That to me is the funnest thing. I love to encourage people to, I don't know, do your thing. I love hosting. I host this. I love to talk. And I host, in hosting that, it's really fun. So I set the tone. So the tone is really fun. And so people come there, and last time they were like, it's so fun. And I'm like, they're like, it just feels so good. I'm like, because I'm setting this tone. And that's how it is. Whoever's putting the event on, you're setting the tone for the place. You're setting the tone for the event, for the show. Like, I've noticed this. And I used to put together shows when I lived in Sacramento, and same thing. It was always this really nice, lovely time, and I'm setting the tone. And so I have a very open kind of, I don't know, my free spirit in that way sets the tone. So people were very attentive, and people, like, every performer everyone paid attention. Not every, and it was good. It was everyone was supportive. That was great. And then, so my friend Chris, he's a noise performer, and he, doesn't really perform in this. I don't think he's ever performed. Maybe he's performed here, but no one just books him like I would book him. I'm like, oh, here, open up for something. I appreciate what you do. I understand the noise scene, like Crash and Brittany. We used to do noise. I used to be more involved with that like years ago. And when I met Chris, he works at this place. We became friends, and he is, so he's a really sweet guy. Everyone loves Chris, but he's also an emotional, intense person. So I was excited. You got to play the open mic. You got to do this. And I was looking forward to it because I knew that it was going to be different than what people expected, because I didn't want 20 people to show up just with their acoustic guitars and sing, which I do want those people there. But I want more just than that. I wanted it to be more eclectic. So more people doing like spoken word poetry or like comedy but no one did comedy. Only one guy did some poetry, but everyone else was musicians, which was great. And they were very unique, all kinds of different styles, and it was so good. And I just wanted it to be different, and it was, and it will be. And so when Chris he was probably like the 5th person. I kind of had to give this like introduction, like, okay, so Chris, he's he's unique, and his, I just wanted to, I don't know what I said, but it was like a way to, I wasn't like diminishing him or like, oh, watch out, this guy's gonna blow, I didn't want to say it in that way. So I said in a way where it was like, oh, he's here's something unique. This is what I wanted. I wanted all kinds of different performers. When I had this idea, I wanted all kinds of different people. I wanted this to be really unique and, so anyway, whatever I said. So he's setting up, and I knew it was going to like shock people. So he was, which was kind of cool, but also like, there's that part of me that's like sensitive, like I don't want to freak people out. So, he had like 10 pedals. He had this pedal board, and I'm watching him set up. I'm like, I have a feeling there's a chance it's not going to work. Because with pedal boards, if you switch one thing wrong, like a cable, the whole thing's not going to work. So it didn't work. And I was like, okay, well, it's he's like, it's not working. He's like, don't worry, I'll improv. So I was like, okay, so this Chris, he's going to improv. So he gets on the ground, he like starts like pushing a chair, like playing with the sound of the metal chair being pushed and pulled kind of on the sound of the cement floor. Really like, and so I'm like, yeah, this is great. Because everyone before the hymn were just playing these really pretty songs. Like, this is great. This is great. That's what I wanted. So I was laughing. I'm filming. I'm like laughing. And, but everyone was quiet. They let him do his thing. And he was just like growling and pushing the chair. He was on the ground. He's like biting the chair. He's just doing his whole thing. And I know what he's thinking. I know he's plays with sound. That's his whole thing. He's playing with sound. And, so he's like pushing it, and everyone's just watching him. I'm laughing. I'm like, look, there's some other people. We know Chris. So I look over at one of the owners, and she's just like loving this. And like, she's behind the bar, just like, yes. And then like her husband sitting, he's at the table, and he's just like, we're just like, this is amazing. So he's just like growling, and he like keeps pushing the chair and making the noise. And then like, this probably goes on for maybe 2 or 3 minutes, if even that. It seemed like it went on for a really long time. And then he stops. He's like, thank you. And then everyone applauds. Everyone was really happy. Yeah, that was amazing. And then the next person that went and sang some pretty songs. So I'm like, this is exactly what I wanted. It just reminds me. So when I talk about living in New York, and I had a lot of, I paid a lot of attention to the art scene, the art thing in New York. I went to a lot of galleries and different things, and just paid attention. I hung out with artists, and it was cool. Like I saw cool stuff. Like there was like people that would do these performance art just around people. So they would, so there'd be like a group of them, and one time there was this big bookstore. It's not there anymore. This big bookstore called Strand. It was in the Lower East Side, and you'd have to check your backpack. So they all checked their backpack, and they all had cell phones, and so they all checked their backpack. So I don't know how they did this, but somehow now thinking about it would be more complicated, but they all checked their backpack, and somehow they made all their cell phones go off, ring at the exact same time. So there was just a bunch of backpacks, and they're all ringing at the same time. That was their art performance. And this is like public. There's no one there to really watch it. They also did this other thing where they would go into like a business, and this can make people feel like they're going crazy, but I love the idea of this because it was just so, I don't know, just so out there and cool. So they would do this thing where they would go into a store, and so there'd be a customer, and then they would like pass somebody, and then they would like do something, and then they would kind of do this thing where they'd be looping it. So this is like kind of messing with people, but they weren't meaning to mess with people, but that was like their art performance. So they'd like walk past somebody and be like, hey, John. And then maybe they would like go and do something else. And then someone would do something like pick up a book and like walk away. And then maybe someone else would like do something else. But they would loop this thing around people, and they would have their exact same thing. And then people would start being like, what's going on? So they did stuff like that. And then one time I remember sitting in like some little bleachers, and they were doing it like, which I don't know. It was cool. Like you were watching them like walk into the street they were walking and doing something, but they were looping it, whatever it was. And then you're like, oh, there's the performance art. It's very subtle, very interesting. I just think that kind of thing is kind of fun. So it kind of reminds me of that, like kind of bringing more of that up in the hills here. So let's see. Super fun. So I'm looking forward to this next one. It's a lot. Yeah, it's like another thing. But they asked me, hey, or the owners the other day, they're like, are you going to do the open mics after after you don't work here anymore? I'm like, yeah, I'll do them. So it looks like it might be a thing. I think the summer times that get so incredibly busy there, I doubt they're going to want to do them. They probably want nothing to do with like more people, but they might. I don't know. If not, I might just find another venue. But I really think one of the reasons why this one does so well, I know 100% the reason why this one does so well is because of the location. It's a very popular place. People love this place. And I knew that. And I was like, oh, so if I added an open mic, it would do really well here. And it did. And it's going to keep growing. It's kind of nice to, have this place for people to just play for each other. I think that's really cool. So that's going to be fun. I don't have anything else for you guys other than some stories. And nothing real good. No real good jokey stuff. I do write a lot of jokes, and I just have been like in this transitional time right now. I've just been like work, do the podcast. I've got band practice on Wednesdays. It's like, it just kind of, and then I'm still work. I have other jobs I do too. So I'm a busy girl. I busy, but I love this. And I love when I see my numbers. I love that I look, when I went to upload last time, I noticed the day before there was 283 uploads, downloads, I should say, of the previous day. So I was like, oh, cool. That's a lot more than there normally is. That's in just one day. So it's growing, and I love this because it's just growing with me just talking to you guys, because I want it to be more. I was thinking about doing interviews, but I think I've decided this is just as it is. It's great. I think people are really liking just the stories and the jokes, and I try to play something at the end that I've been part of, that I've either written or, I was kind of tripping out the other day. No. So I kind of, this is weird. Okay. So I was raised in church. My first memories is church. And when I was, going to Sunday school, that was just how I remember reality. I remember that being the way life just was. I didn't know any different. And so when I was 6, my mom, I remember we started going to this other church, and it was different. Like they were like the laying of hands on type of church, and they were really intense. I just always felt, I was always like, I feel awkward. I always felt awkward there, and just, I don't know. I did like the camp outs, and the youth stuff was really fun, actually. That was kind of a good little thing to have as a kid, like youth groups and stuff. Had a lot of fun with that. Got to go do fun things, with your peers or whatever from the church. And so one time I was at church, and I remember it was nighttime, and it was probably they probably had some like evening, like Wednesday night church or something. And I remember being there, so I remember it being night, at least in my head. Maybe because it was so dark, it felt like night. So, I'm like 6 years old, and there's, I don't know, like, I'm trying to remember, I do not know how it led up to this, but I'm just going to say this. I remember there being a man with demons being cast out of him, and he was on the ground, and there was all these people holding him down, and he was like, ah, ah, and they're like laying on the hands of him, and they're like, in the name of Jesus, we rebuke you, Satan. Leave him, like rebuking the demons. And it was crazy because it wasn't like he was fighting it like, you guys are crazy. He was like literally screaming. Like, I don't know what it was, why it was happening. But as it was happening, I was just like, what is happening in front of my eyeballs? And why am I watching? Like, I had such an awareness as a kid too. Like, what? This is so crazy. Anyway, that just kind of popped into my head last night. I was like, oh my gosh. That happened. I totally must have put this in some other part in my, I completely forgot about it. And through time, throughout life, and sometimes the memory would pop into my head and I'm like, that happened. So anyway, I was watching something and it like made me think about that. There was something that, I don't know, I was watching and oh yeah, that's right. And I started thinking about that and I was like, I should talk about that on my podcast. And I'm like, do I talk about that on my podcast? I'm like, it's a story. It's something that happened. I witnessed crazy stuff as a kid. Okay, so I am going to let you go. I don't have anything for the end. This is kind of, I got a lot going on these next couple days. So I just want to get a podcast out, come on here and say hello and tell you a couple stories. Okay, I will talk to you next week. Okay, thanks for listening. All right, bye.